to play Dungeons and Dragons, and Dungeons and Dragons is what I will play.
Fuck yes. Oh, now I've got to make sure where I put my notes. Ah, okay. So, with all that out of the way, we can get back into this. And yeah, last time we saw you, the party had arrived back at the bathhouse, but Seto had fallen into a fever seemingly caused by the phoenix blood in his veins. You took him to the bathhouse where everyone else was able to recover from the fight with the Titan, and Kinji made it clear that reporting to Daichi was top priority, so leaving Seto in the care of the bathhouse staff, you made your way into the city. In Daichi's throne room, Kinji did as he was promised and neglected to mention anything about the Titan's whereabouts, commending the party for their valiant performance and prompting Daichi to offer promotions and tattoos all around. The victory was sort of short lived, however, as Kinji then asked that he be given command of the squad, and telling Daichi that he could prepare you all for your upcoming festival. Daichi happily agreed, despite the party's reactions, and after that, you all went back into the city. The majority of the group made their way to the tattoo parlor, but Estrella decided that she'd make another attempt at clearing the library of its mimic problem. They attempted to assist, but both of them were very nearly killed instead. Thankfully, making a deal with one of the last surviving mimics, Buddy managed to check out a few books and headed back to the tattoo parlor to finish getting their ink. We now rejoin you as you've all finished getting your tattoos and had a brief discussion amongst yourselves before doing what?
So we've returned back to the tattoo parlor, right?
Yeah, we're back there now. You guys, if you got any books or anything, you did manage to pick them up on your way out. There would also, Australia, you would have been given a sealed envelope with all the information that she was able to find out about that ring. But she said that she would keep looking into it for you. Everyone is now back at the tattoo parlor, though. I think Sakura was just asking one of the monks about the wall job, the painting job, which he explained was the whole city wall, and that's where we find you now.
Yeah. Sakura's kind of regressing, asking a little bit. I mean, that seems like it'll take days. But it is what it is.
Oh yes, that's where my internet was cutting out. You were trying to ask how long it would take, um,
Mm,
and yeah, you know that it would probably take days, and that's what you're sort of figuring out until he says, "Oh, but not just the city. We're talking about the whole wall from here in Toto all the way to Nishizawa that crosses the entire continent, basically. Um, it
uh,
is that entire border wall is what needs to be painted. So definitely, I mean, we've heard that you're into time magic, so I don't know how long it would take you, but it's probably more than a one-man job.
yeah, I get the impression that this would take a number of days, even for me. Uh, I'll see what I can do, but I don't know if we'll be able to get to it for a while. I'll talk to some people though. When do you need it done by?
Oh, Daichi's been wanting this done for about 2 years. I don't think there's much of a rush.
Okay. She nods. She says, "Well, in that case, it may be a while."
Not to worry, miss. I think you have bigger things to deal with than painting the walls now. And I will meta-wise also point out that I have not updated those things since you were much lower level. So I will get to that eventually once there are some new things. But at the moment, there are no new side quests. We're actually going to try and stick to the main thing.
Cool.
At some point, we have to become samurai, right?
Yeah, if we get, because at this rate we're going to hit level 20 and you're not even going to be, like, you're not even going to have graduated high school. So
So what you're saying is that what we're gonna play is basically high school dropouts.
Look,
yeah,
Sakura
well,
will never be a dropout.
yeah, well, I mean, at this point, there have been a few discussions of perhaps not being, well, maybe not everyone is too keen on staying in Toto forever, but yeah, your Genpuku is coming up in about 5 or 6 days, or not even. Like, it's nighttime now. It's about 8:30 at night, and bear in mind it was the same morning that you fought the Titan, so it has been a long day. Even though you got some good rest in at the bathhouse, and you all know that you are supposed to meet Kinji the following morning for your morning report.
Yeah, Sakura's gonna go to bed. I mean, she's tired. She got a tattoo. She left the house. She got a tattoo, and now she's gonna go to bed. Again.
Okay.
A quick meta question though. What happens to Seto now?
It is still in universe because we might. Yeah, his character is still going to be a part of the world because he might show up in like one shots or something later on. But you will figure that out this session. That's in story now. But don't. It is removed from the player at this point, or at least at this time.
I think Sakura would probably go and check on him before she went to bed, though.
Yeah, that we will. You're currently still in the city, so you're wanting to head back to the bathhouse to go to bed.
Mm.
What is everyone else doing as you're back at the tattoo parlor?
Well, I guess June would be, finishing up getting those full 2-arm tattoos, making her look like a complete badass. She'll start thinking about what to do next, and obviously the rings will come up in her thoughts during that time of getting tattooed, and she'll while the monk is cleaning up the needles and such, she'll ask, "Hey, if I was in a squad where they have, they already have 2 of their rings, but I don't have any rings, how would I get my other 2 rings?"
Oh, rings are not based on the squad. Those are individually earned. If you have joined late, I'm afraid you'll have to go and get them yourself.
And Jin lets out a good old sigh. All right, and she gets on her kimono, the demon hunter one, and begins making her way out. Says, "Thank you for the tattoo. Hope to get some new ones soon." Gives him a look and makes her way out.
The guy that tattooed you in particular, actually, I'd like you to roll for me either a persuasion or an intimidation check, either or.
Persuasion or intimidation? Yeah, let's go with persuasion.
Okay, damn, holy shit, you're a plus 15.
Odds, man.
Yeah, I love the high level stuff. So this guy, as he was tattooing you, he was clearly aware that there's something different about you to his normal clients. Though he didn't say anything, you did get the impression that this guy was very, very interested in you. Maybe too much. Maybe he's heard rumors, or maybe he was just into you. But this monk seems very interested in the way that your skin reacts to the ink, and it's it's up to you how you feel about that. Might even make you uncomfortable, but yeah, one of the monks here has got a keen eye on you.
Hmm. In that case, the one that was tattooing me, I'll at some point during the tattoo process, I'll look up at him and say, "You don't like me, do you?"
No, I think you're very interesting, ma'am. Why would I not like you?
I mean, I can see how you look at me. You just don't like me, don't you?
No, I mean no offense. It is just I have never quite well. And you see, he's kind of looking at your arm as he's tattooing it, and he says, "I didn't make these ones move." And you see part of the sleeve is sort of animated, but he's he just seems kind of shocked by it. Like you've seen the way that they do these tattoos, it's usually just in one point and then the ink kind of bleeds into your skin. But as he's been doing that, that specific part of the tattoo has just taken a life of its own, and he seems kind of disturbed by it, but mostly fascinated.
Isn't that supposed to happen? I thought these tattoos were magical.
Well, they are. I suppose magic can be unpredictable, but uh, it can have strange effects depending on the wearer of the tattoo as well. You understand it does mix with your own blood, and he sort of shows you the vial full of blood that is attached to the needle he's been using. It is full of your blood now. It was empty when you started, but he says it could just be some kind of innate magic that you have yourself. Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking, miss?
Northern Kia.
Ah, yes. No family in Smart, do you? And he kind of whispers that as if it's taboo.
No, not really. I grew up in the slums. Made my way. Made a name for myself. Took out a Titan. That's pretty cool. Uh, but anyway, just get the tattoo done already. I have places to be.
Of course, of course. And he will diligently go back to it.
But maybe I have some secret yokai blood. Ooh, that could be cool. Yeah, but she'll basically try um, manipulate the conversation into make him thinking about something completely different to her being a changeling.
Oh yeah, you do that successfully. He is not. He fully believes your story of the urchin, and you see no distrust in him whatsoever. Nothing to suggest that he doesn't believe what you're saying. And he very. I mean, he keeps the conversation light as he finishes the tattoo, but it does take you guys quite a while to actually get these full tattoos completed. But yeah, we'll say at the end of it, you and Sakura are heading out of there. What are Australia and Jerry doing?
I finished getting my tattoo as well, and then went to sleep.
Okay, cool. And so you'll be heading with them as well, Australia. What are you up to there?
I guess when I'm done with the getting to the two, I'm just getting to the bathhouse and just finding a place and sitting down and the books I picked up.
Okay, great. So with that, you can all take inspiration because you you have immediately followed the rule and all stuck together. Well done. But we are going to, before you guys actually arrive at the bathhouse, we will move over to the Shrine Road that you are also used to traveling at this point, as it is now late at night. But as you approach this road, you see all the trees, all of the leaves on all of the trees here have turned a bright pink, as if you were back in the Sakura forest, as if spring had sprung early. But anyone who wants to make a nature or a history check, you can roll one for me.
Oh, me. History and nature. let's do nature. It's gonna roll on D&D Beyond though, because
You might,
Foundry
bro.
is dead.
Oh,
June would not be interested in this. She'd be
Yeah, for some
stretching out
reason,
the entire time.
the forge wouldn't load for me.
Yeah, mine is 19 on nature.
okay. And Estrella, did you just get a nat 20 there on that one?
Yep. I was like, yep, that's not getting better.
That's all right. That's pretty fitting that the the kitsune and the satyr figured this out. Yeah, you guys definitely recognize that you were here earlier today. These trees were not all pink earlier today. It was not spring when you left this afternoon, but now in the middle of the night, it seems like within a couple of hours, or while you've been getting your tattoos, apparently spring arrived. It is very strange, and as you're walking up this road, you notice that it is eerily quiet. There is a strange feeling in the air. It is you can't even hear the birds. The even the waterfall itself seems sort of muffled and hushed. But yeah, as far as you can tell, spring has sprung.
Yeah, this is spooky. Sakura is like she's uneasy. Her tails are like poofed up, like when like a cat gets spooked, or and their tails just yeah yeah all of them are just poofed.
Yeah, June is not very focused, walking with her eyes closed, stretching out after the huge battle earlier, and yeah, she isn't really paying much attention.
Here is about the same as John. He just wants to get to his bed and go to sleep.
So as you guys, yeah, see, a few of you are having problems with the maps tonight, but as you guys make your way up towards the bathhouse and you get to the front, you see that the two staff members that were working there are standing outside. They sort of have their hands clutched together and they are both looking down as Mata is standing at the top of the stairs and she is just watching you approach.
Sakura thinks something's wrong, so she's gonna. This is strange.
Yeah, seeing them waiting there, I will quickly do a pursuit with using my kimono and just appear right behind them, and just basically scare them. But I give them a small fright and say, "Why the long faces?"
She nearly jumps right out of her skin as she just lets out this scream and instinctively tries to punch you in the face or sort of backhand you in the face, but because she is also ducking at the same time, misses completely. You just see her turn and say, "Oh, Jesus, I don't think now is the time, June. He didn't make it." And she just shakes her head and is like hanging her head low.
Wait, what?
Who didn't make what now? I don't understand.
At this point, the rest of you catch up as June had sort of ported over there, and you approach the stairs as Mata is busy shaking her head, and she looks over at you, Sakura, and she just lowers her head and she says, I'm so sorry. The fever, it was too much.
Mid
It
sentence.
started burning everything." And you see you see that the major domo sort of runs up to you as you're trying to walk into the bathhouse and just tries her best to stop you. You can give me a strength saving throw. Yeah,
That's
you
dramatic.
you
Did-
blast her out of the way, and she is. You barely even notice that she's there as you are just making a beeline inside.
Yeah, June will look directly into their face and just go, "What? What do you mean he didn't make it?"
Marta just turns to the other one that is still standing there, and she says, I mean, show him. And she unfurls. You see that what she has got in her hands, wrapped up in her kimono, she unfurls what looks like this charred, sort of golden and black egg that is she's got wrapped up in her kimono, and she just looks up at you with these bewildered kind of eyes, seemingly with no explanation. And Mata just gestures to it and says, he burned up. We don't know what happened.
Uh, what? You mean he poofed into that? What? Huh? June is completely flabbergasted right now. It hasn't completely hit her. That's what's happened.
Sakura's like frantically searching inside for him.
Yeah, you can give me an investigation check as the people outside say, all right, come inside, we'll show you. I mean, if we can. and they all start heading inside as well.
Fitting. 35.
Well, that with a 35, you are 100% sure that you have searched every inch of this. You even look, you stick your head into the portal, go and check the entire bathhouse. You run flat. Seto is not there. But what you do find is in the middle of the bathhouse, in that room beneath the tree, you see there is a scorched patch of earth there, and you can see all sorts of towels and things scattered all over that room. This is clearly where they were looking after him, but it looks like someone, like this entire place was fireballed earlier today.
She goes to Shiori and it's like, where is he? What happened to him? She's panicked.
Sakura, calm down. Let's figure out
No,
what
June,
happened.
fuck
first.
off.
Yep, I had that coming. Okay, we need to figure out. Okay, explain everything that happened now, right now. Don't spare any details.
She nods her head, and you can see that she has been crying as she says, the fever that you brought him back with, I don't know what it was. It seemed like his blood was getting hotter and hotter. We tried to cool him off in the pools, and then we were looking after him in the back. Some visitors came, and I had to deal with them. They were customers of the bathhouses. They were looking for you, and then when I returned after I'd sent them on their way, and she can't seem to actually say it, but she leads you through to that room to show all of you the scorch mark on the ground, and she points to the egg and says, that was lying where we had left him, and everything else around him was on fire. I don't know what happened.
Sakura wants the egg. She wants to look at it. I'm trying to figure out. She doesn't want to be rude, but she doesn't feel like talking, so she's just gonna like hold out her hands for it.
Yeah, they will definitely. One of them will place the egg in your hand, and as you touch it, you will feel this sort of surge of energy coming off of it. You can give me an Arcana check, Sakura, as you pick it up. And with the 26, you feel the elemental energy flowing from this egg is overwhelming. There is clearly great power in what you are holding in your hands. I mean, you're not entirely sure what it is. You can probably put two and two together, but this could be a dragon egg of some ancient creature. You have no idea what it actually is, but I will leave that to you as a player to figure out.
I'm just gonna put it in my inventory as Seta's egg. She's not gonna let it go. She's just, at the moment, at least, she's just holding on to it the entire time.
Okay, so let me get these facts straight. You leave him to attend to some weird people. Come back, room's on fire, and he's an egg. That's it.
I mean, what else do you want me to say? That she just seems completely flustered and confused herself.
Gina's gonna. Can Gina make a history check to see if she knows anything about phoenixes? If they turn to eggs and then are reborn or something? Anything like that?
Yeah, you can give me a history or a nature check, or a
History,
religion, actually. Any of
history,
those.
nature, or religion. They're all +6. I'll just use history. Why not? It's gonna be rolling on D&D Beyond because my map broke for some reason. That's okay. That's pretty good. 22.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely have heard the legend of the phoenix, and that generally, well, it has been found in certain cultures. They have found eggs that they believe to be eggs laid by their own or by creatures, like in sort of. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. But there are legends of people finding these eggs and worshipping them, and then great fiery birds emerging from them and destroying everything. Um, that that is the legend of the phoenix that has been passed on from parents to children for ages, and it is something that you are definitely familiar with. But and knowing Seto of all people, you definitely are familiar with basic phoenix knowledge.
So I will look at Sakura holding the egg. I'll say, okay. So if I've got my ancient knowledge right, he should be okay.
She's trying to hold back tears at the moment.
And I'll wait. Sakura's quite short. Jin will crouch. Well, not crouch down, but get down to her height and look her straight in the eye and say, "He is not dead.
He's
Probably.
not here.
He's not here right now, but he's not dead, which is not a bad thing. But he's probably alright. Okay? You have to
She,
get
she's still distraught though. Like her best friend has just disappeared. Her favorite is just gone. She's in shock. She doesn't really know what to do. I know you're trying to comfort her, but at the moment she's kind of just like sitting there wide-eyed, like looking blankly into the distance.
Shiori comes walking into the room, and she is holding in her hands, also covered in cloth, but she is holding Seto's sword as she approaches you, Sakura, and she says, my lady, we took his weapons from him before we were looking after him. I don't know if this would bring you any comfort, but I believe he would want you to have. And she just sort of turns the sword to you, and you see the small sword knot given to Seto by your father hanging from it.
She nods and thanks, and she takes the sword and she kind of hugs it, even though it's a sword and it's tight. She hugs it.
Yeah, you can actually give me a religion check as you do this.
My religion isn't amazing.
Okay, a 16 is enough to, as you kind of, you're not sure if it is. I mean, you don't actually question it at all at this point, as you were just hugging the sword, but you do get the feeling that Seto's spirit is close, and you get this strange sensation that he is still watching over you, even though you are now in this moment certain that he is no longer with you here, not in his material form. He has ceased to exist at this point and is replaced only by that egg that you hold in your hand.
Yeah, she's hugging them, and then she also remembers this staff that he made specifically for her. So she takes that out as well. She's just hugging this staff and this sword and this egg like closely, trying to distance herself from her emotions, although it's not really working very well, as like tears kind of start trickling down her cheek. And like when she kind of realizes that, you know, she kind of senses his spirit, she kind of like looks around frantically. I feel like to everyone else, she kind of looks. I mean, it must be very interesting to see someone frantically look around at nothing.
Where are you actually in the bathhouse? Because I know your map wasn't
Oh,
working just now.
she's in the middle there by the scorched ground.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I assume so. So yeah, everyone is sort of in that middle room. Jerry, are you there as well? I moved your token there, but I don't actually know where you would like to be.
Yeah, the forge still did not load for me. It's been like half an hour. I got no clue what to do about it, so I'm just watching the stream. Yeah, for now I'm there with them in the room.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why it's not loading. But yeah, if it takes more than half an hour, generally is not going to do anything. I would give it a refresh, but I know how temperamental Forge can be. And how about you, Australia? You've headed into that room. Everyone is now gathered in here, so feel free to interact amongst yourselves. But I haven't heard from you for a bit, Australia. What's happening with you?
I would just have gone into the room and looked at the sportsman. This has been disintegration or something's. Think if there's any like clue of what may have happened.
Yeah, you can also give me an Arcana check if you want. Or yeah, actually, an Arcana or Survival, either. Or. Okay, a 14, you can't quite tell, but you do know that it doesn't look like a disintegration. This there was a lot more fire than when you've well than with Kit. Uh, and also you will notice that none of his other magic items, the weapons that they took off of him before, which was the pole arm, his swords, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There is nothing left behind here of any sort of magic weapon, any magic items that would usually have survived a disintegration.
Sitting down and start reading.
Can I try to figure out what would the implications be of losing our our commanding officer just like this for the squad and just in general?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose your character wouldn't really know much about the inner workings of Daichi's army specifically, but that's something that you could discuss with amongst the other characters, see what they know, or Z might know something, who I just realized is still outside.
Yeah, that I should be keeping that conversation to herself because it would not be the best thing to bring up with everybody else right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
Z.
is.
Sorry, carry on, Sakura.
Oh, sorry. No, no, no. You can go first.
Well, Z is kneeling there with you, Sakura, and has not said anything. Has been in a sort of stunned silence this entire time. But as she's looking at this, she just shakes her head and she goes, What are we gonna do? I mean, if he's, do you think he's in the egg?
I do believe he might be the egg.
Yeah, Sakura's just gonna look at her with a strange expression, um, wondering how she thinks that he could fit in the egg. But she's just gonna leave it. I mean, at this point, she's like clutching onto these weapons. Just everything that she has left of him, and like, I'm actually gonna make her take a bit of damage because she's holding them so tight.
Oh yeah, you will actually feel as you are holding in the the egg that you are holding. It is not a smooth um, egg whatsoever. It looks like it has got some sort of scales on it, almost similar to some kind of a fish, but they almost look more like feathers. It's like they are hardened feathers that form this scale-like texture over the egg, and as you sort of press it close to yourself, you start to feel that inside there is a warmth in there that it begins to even burn you as you are holding it so tight. It's almost as if you were kind of holding onto a heater at low temperature for too long, and it just you don't even realize how hot it was getting, but it starts to burn you after a little while, and you definitely feel that the energy in here is it has definitely got something to do with all the scorch marks and that, but you can only assume that it is part of some strange phoenix magic.
Oh look, she's smart, but she doesn't want to let it go. So she's just kind of gonna like hold on to it a little less tightly. She's still gonna hold on to it because she doesn't want it to be out of her grasp.
You can also give me another history check, Sakura.
Ooh. I'm good at history.
Who would have known stuff about the? Oh, there's a lot of dice
Oh,
there for.
I wonder why it
Okay,
wrote.
well, it was a 26, then a 27. I think you get it. You you know who would have known a lot about this kind of phoenix stuff is Anaki. And now that you're thinking about it, you think back to the last moments of that fight. You think back to when when Seto was what you thought was killed, you saw him turn to ash in that fight. You saw him completely burn away and then rise up. But ever since he rose up from that his veins had been like glowing red hot. He was he was further into that phoenix form than you'd ever seen him before. And you wonder to yourself now, could that have taken its toll? And would Inaki maybe have had more information about that? It's where you could probably find.
Mm. I'll head to the library sometime. And for now, I've just added the weapons, Seto's weapon.
Oh, actually, yeah, okay, that's good. We'll discuss that after the session. But yes, you have got Seto's sword and the egg. You can just Oh yeah, you said you added Seto's egg. So yeah, at this point, I mean, there's not all that much to be done about it. The night is getting late, and as everyone sort of takes in this shock of what the hell has happened, where Seto's gone. Is there anything else you guys want to do this evening before? I mean, Z is still quite hurt. She's going to head back to the pools at some point and try and get some rest. She's not even sure this isn't some sort of weird mimic poison messing with her head.
Jin will look towards Jerry and ask him, Jerry, you've been quiet through all this. What do you think?
Really not sure. I'm not really. I don't really know much about phoenixes, but if he'll come back, he will come back.
I think the best thing we can all do is have a good night's rest.
Yeah, Sakura is eventually just she's still exhausted, so after a while of just like curled up, clutching all of this stuff, she kind of just falls asleep on the scorched ground, holding stuff.
Yeah, at some point I'll move her to a better place. I'll cover up the egg and the weapon in something like a like cloth or something, some fine
A
cloth.
blanket?
And just well, not exactly a blanket, but some something that looks nice, and set it next to her and just put her to sleep. Make sure it's nearby.
Yeah, no, you'll easily be able to find something here. As it is quite a solemn night, and there is not much more said from by any of the staff or anything, as you're not entirely sure if they feel guilty or if they are just being respectful, or if this is just the culture. But you definitely see that they are feeling this. He did own the bathhouse after all.
Mm.
Can Jerry do one more thing before he goes to sleep?
Yeah.
I want to get out of the bathhouse, get on Spike, and fly like as high up the mountain as he can, where there is still soil and it's not all of like everything is rocky, where there is still ground.
Yeah. I mean, the mountain is quite full of little like forested areas and things. You've had a few spots like that outside the forge. You can head up there while everyone's taking a long rest.
Yeah, like I said, I'll head as high as I can up the mountain. Find like a nice spot, take out small seed and plant it. Pour some water on it and say, when the rain hits rays of light from hazy skylines, rainbow shines bright. Put the water skin away and just sit next to the place where I planted the seed. And just say like out in the open. Not sure where you are, Settle. But may your journey be peaceful to the other side. I just sit there for a few more minutes before flying back to the bed house to sleep.
All right. Yeah, you can absolutely do that, and as the rest of the night goes on, you all manage to actually settle down and maybe not get a good sleep, but finally actually get some sleep. We will move on 8 hours later till the end of your long rest and the following morning, where the trees of the bathhouse are now this bright pink. Still, it was not just a trick of the light last night. It is definitely, it is as if spring has sprung overnight, and this is where you find yourselves the following morning. Still not that much of a different energy, but at least with the rising sun, moods lift a little bit, and the prospect that Seto might not be gone forever, or that is at least still with you in spirit, is definitely evident here.
Yeah, Jin would be on the roof again.
Oh my god, I just switched like 3 days on that.
Yeah, Jin would have laid on the roof, just pretty much stargazing for the whole night. Oh god, the music! Ah, ha, ha, ha.
God damn. Alright,
Let me guess, your map got fucked up with the lighting.
no, it's just because it thinks it's the 27th now, but that means we're not going to use the clock for the next day. But well, some things think that it's the 26th, and the clock thinks it's the 27th, but doesn't matter. All right. Yeah, the following morning, you all rise feeling a lot more well rested, and all your wounds have healed. What would you guys like to do?
Sakura's just lying there. As soon as she wakes up, she panics because she can't see. She's not holding the egg. But then she sees it next to her, and she just takes it, and she holds it, and she lies there. I suppose she's hoping that if she sort of like holds it for long enough, it'll hatch into Seto. Like, it's completely illogical. And she's usually very logical, but I mean, he's her favorite.
You're essentially nesting at this point. You're like trying to incubate the egg just by lying on top of.
Mama
Yeah.
hen. Well, I assume we have to meet up with our new annoying ass commander, right?
I'm not going.
Yeah, this is Matthew asking, not June.
Oh,
Asking
yeah.
June.
Yeah, in that case, yes, you are definitely scheduled to be meeting up with Kinji this morning. he is probably expecting you.
Yeah, I'll make my way to everybody's, I guess, rooms. There's not really rooms in the bathhouse, but yeah, I'll make my way. I'll first go to Estrella and say, Estrella, we have to go meet with Commander. I know you don't want to. I don't want to. Nobody wants to, but we gotta.
Oh well, I'm closing my book as getting up. And
I don't like it. I'm sure you don't like it, but we gotta. And then I'll leave her to her thing. I'll make my way to. I'm assuming Jerry's nowhere to be seen.
You know, Jerry did come back to the bathhouse,
Oh, you did.
but I'm
Okay.
not sure. Jerry, where might they find you?
He'll probably wake up and wait like outside the bathhouse, so he won't go into the female side of it.
Okay.
Just wait for
So
them to come out.
he's already up. Cool. I'll make my way to Sakura, knock on the metaphorical door, and say, "Sakura, we have to get to the commander."
No.
Unfortunately, this is not up for discussion. I don't like it. You don't like it. But we got it. We have to.
Can't you just be me?
Well, I can be you, but I can't be you and me at the same time.
Then be you and say that I'm sick or something.
She like covered up in like covers and stuff right now.
Yeah, she's like all bundled up, holding this egg, just like holding it to her chest. She's hugging it. The weapons are like right next to her. You'll notice that, like, they're like right by her. Nesting, basically.
I'll give out a sigh, close the door, pretend to walk away, but actually make my way to the major domo and ask her, "Hey, do we have ice?" And I'll actually use my my awakened mind to speak to her and say, "Do we have any ice by any chance?"
She just looks up at you and like she looks kind of confused, but then she says, "Good morning, Lady June. I was just about to go and check if we have any ice. Could I perhaps?" And she just looks kind of confused, as though she just had a thought that she doesn't understand if it was her own or. Wait, was that? Were you just? Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry. My head is everywhere today, I'm afraid. How can I help you?
I need ice. Don't ask
Oh,
questions. I just need ice.
oh God, I was just thinking about. Yes, I can go and fetch some. Um, is this for drinking or?
Asked. I said no questions. Just I need the ice right now, like right this second.
Yes, and she'll just potter off into another room as you, and then you hear this burst of energy come from the other room, and she comes back like not 5 minutes later with a bucket full of ice, and you can see her hands are kind of chilled as she is holding this bucket, but she she walks up to you and hands it to you and says, "Will this do?"
Yeah, this will be perfect. I'll then go fill up the bucket with water. I'll then make my way back to Sakura's room.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever actually discussed it, but I've always kind of assumed that there's rooms above the bathhouse, like just on the second floor.
Yeah.
So we'll assume
That
that's where you are.
Yeah, I'll knock on the wood again and ask and say, "Sakura, get up. We have to get going."
no.
I'll open the door and begin making my way in. I'm assuming she's turned away at this moment.
No, she's kind of just sitting facing the door, but holding the egg. She glares at you.
Yeah, she'll be holding the bucket behind her with mage hand and says, we have to go, Sakura. I know it's sad, but he isn't dead. He's just gone for a bit. He'll be back.
She really doesn't want to. She just. If you throw the water on it, I swear you.
Yeah.
Let's actually have I would like a sleight of hand versus a perception from you guys to see if you notice the bucket of water that June is trying to hide behind.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, you do notice that there is definitely something you can sort of see the glow of the mage hand, or is your mage hand invisible?
I don't think it is. I think it's just
Well,
normal mage hand.
yeah, okay. If it's normal mage hand, then you sort of see the glow of this, and you can hear the water sort of sloshing around behind June. You can't actually see what she's holding there, but you can tell that there's something hovering behind her.
Well, Sakura's mage hand is invisible. So she is going to take her mage hand and basically push the water onto June instead.
Okay, give me another. This time it'll be the other way around. So again, sleight of hand versus perception.
Oh.
Who was it celebrating for? None of those were amazing rolls.
Oh, it's a mod 20.
Wait, you got a mod 20?
No, June did.
I was like,
I-
huh?
That's-
I'm definitely looking at an 11 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so June, you do see it sort of, you see the bucket starting to tilt as the Sakura makes a small gesture in her curled up sort of grumpy state. She makes a little like wave with her hand, and you just see the bucket starting to tilt behind you. What do you do?
Yeah. Noticing this, I'll be like, I'll give a big sigh. And then I'll crouch and launch the bucket at the bucket of water at her.
Okay, I'm going to ask you both to give me a dex saving throw.
Mm.
Okay, so as Sakura tries to tilt this thing and you try to throw it forward, the water splashes all out into the room. Sakura, you get fully covered. This is a ice bath to the face, as the unfortunately it is quite a violent explosion. June, you get pretty well, you get splashed as well. You're not soaked with that dex save. You just managed to get out of the way, but your clothes are pretty wet at this point, and the Sakura is completely covered though, and you see as this ice water pours over you, you hear this hissing sound as the egg itself is also covered in this ice water and just begins to steam as the heat from this egg is just instantly evaporating the water.
June won. She's like, okay, no, I'm definitely not going. She takes the egg and she takes the weapons and she heads out to the baths, where she's gonna put the egg in the hot water and save it. You fucked up, June. You fucked up. Like, Sakura never swears. Ever.
All right, we're gonna be at the commanders, and if I'm not covering your ass, she begins making her way out.
Okay, I assume Estrella and Jerry are also outside.
Yeah, we're
What?
outside. I'm just waiting for them to come out.
I'm pretty much.
What are you guys doing while this is happening?
Well, I'm pretty
I'm
much.
standing and waiting.
Yeah, I pretty much come out and then been waiting a little, and then when you don't come, I'm like picking up the book and starting reading a little bit, just to pass the time.
Yeah, we can all say that during this night and with a bit of time, you can actually add about 10 hours to that book. that you have read so far. But yeah, what do you guys, as you see June now approaching the exit, the three of you will sort of be standing outside. What are you guys doing?
Well, I come out, try to gauge their reactions after after making Sakura scream like a little girl, probably after getting splashed with freezing cold water.
You
Yeah,
knock
you
on
guys can give me perception checks if you want to see if you heard the commotion happening upstairs.
Nope. Too focused on the book.
It's a good book, man. You can roll on D&D Beyond and just call it out. I mean, it'll show up in the thing. Oh, all right. Yeah, Jerry, you heard it. Australia was definitely not privy to that, but as you guys were both standing there outside, you heard a bit of a commotion. You heard Sakura shouting, and then June came down just a few minutes later.
She's not coming, isn't she?
Nope. Honestly thought an ice bucket would work, but clearly that's not
Ice
off enough.
with a fiery egg. You thought that would work.
Well, we'll jump back to you at the baths just now, Sakura, as Z will be coming out to meet you. But yeah, what is the conversation happening out front?
Did anyone else enter the bathhouse? I'm asking generally, not like I'm asking you, DM.
Sorry, I missed that. Say again.
Are there all these warriors, soldiers, like relaxing at the bathhouse, or is it still too early?
And at this point, there are still a couple of people that are sort of staying in those little sort of makeshift places outside on the Shrine Road. There is the one rather large guy, a couple of other soldiers, but no one of note. Mine.
I asked June if Sakura is still in her room or did she leave?
She's probably gone to the hot springs now. She is really stubborn sometimes. But again, who could blame her?
I'll be right back. I enter the back. I go back to the bathhouse and stand, well, as close as I can to the female side of the bathhouse, but still on the male, like next to the trees, so I can maybe hear if she speaks or anything.
I mean, I suppose she should be cursing about June fucking with Seto, and because Seto is now the egg, and how that Ice probably hurt him, and she's such a menace, and
I thought
she,
Sakura was
she,
supposed to be smart.
she usually doesn't like think this way. Don't worry, she usually likes you. But I mean, that was mean. That was very mean. How she's cold, and
Yep.
yeah, she kind of just wants to not be part of social stuff.
Yeah, Jerry, you can roll me a perception check to see how much of this you are hearing, as Z is also, she is now there with you, Sakura, and she says, "Look, I mean, I understand why you would be worried about ice water, but quite frankly, I don't think." And as you are putting the water, the egg into the pools, you can see that even the pool itself is like starting to bubble slightly. The longer you leave it in there, there is definitely magical heat coming off of this thing. And she says, "Look, I mean, not to be funny, but the first time we saw Seto die, he got thrown into lava. I, I mean, I don't want to be insensitive, but I can't believe that. I mean, we've seen him get taken down and then come back before. I don't think there's any reason to think that it wouldn't happen again." Jerry, you definitely hear this whole conversation as you are. The place that you picked in the trees was luckily right next to the bath that they are busy talking in.
I just yelled to the other side. Yeah, not only that, he would want you to warn him like that. He would want you to keep going.
She kind of looks frantically around because I'm assuming she kind of can't see Jerry.
Yeah, you hear this coming from the tree line right next to you, which you know that there is the main side on the other side, but you can, as you look over in that direction, you can see a faint glow from Jerry's paladin aura sort of just under the gate.
She kind of mutters, I guess. I suppose I'm warmed up, but I'm not leaving him.
No one said you have to leave it. That thing is staying with us no matter what. Sakura, when you died, he would have killed the gods to get you back. I mean, I understand that you're upset. So am I, but I don't think that just sitting around and being sad about it is going to help anyone.
She nods and then she says, he probably would want me to go to this stupid thing. And she'll sort of like get out and put a clean and not freezing cold kimono on. And yes, June, looking at you,
I mean,
little shit,
presentation.
little shit. She's gonna sort of keep all his weapons on her back, even if they're really heavy, and she's kind of slowed down by it. She insists on keeping them with her, and she just like clutches this egg. And she'll glare at June, and she's just gonna ignore her.
Jerry, you will see a fist just push through the trees and through the fence to give you a fist bump from Z, and she goes, "Oh, thanks, Mouse Man."
Mouse.
Always a pleasure.
All right. So with that, you all, yeah, I mean, you see Sakura looking like she's ready for war, in more ways than one, approaching, and you all make your way out of the bathhouse. So I assume you're heading to the city to.
And
Oh,
when I see Jerry, I'll give him a small nod.
before you go, the major domo will also. She will just say, "Look, I know that this is not exactly the best time, but those people that were here yesterday, they may still be looking for you. What would you like me to tell them if they come back?" It was.
I mean, do they look important?
Well, I mean, I don't know about important. One of them was an elephant man, and there was another kitsune, and she shrugs. She says, honestly, one of the strangest groups of people I've ever seen, but they said they were heading into town for the fight club last night. So if they
Mm.
come back here, what should I tell them?
Well, I'll let you know when I get back. I might go see my G-son or my dad, or just go and sit in the Sakura forest. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll send a bird.
Well, from what I could tell, it seemed like they had recently lost a friend as well. That's what they were. They said they were looking for a healer. They may have someone that's just hurt, or yeah, and she'll say, "Oh, I know. Actually, we'll send a paper bird if they come back." And she'll just give you a bow and say, "Ohio, Sakura," and just bows to everyone and heads back inside, looking very forlorn and sort of dragging her feet at this point.
Sakura bows back, but it's like not hurt. It's sort of still polite, but not as deep as her usual bows. Partially because she's got all these weapons and an egg in her arms, but also because she's just a bit demotivated.
With that, still feeling this confusion a little bit and sadness of the possibility, you all make your way back to the city.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Just want to eat, get dinner.
Okay, cool. Let's actually take a 5-minute break there, and I can
Sweet.
set up
Yep.
some extra walls here.
All right.
Let me get some coffee.
Are you still there, Dan?
I'm back.
Yo, what up?
Impromptu, I think it's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah, it's actually. Oh, no spoilers, no spoilers. I saw you were playing Splitgate earlier. Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I'm loving it. So
It's
fun.
fucking cool, right? How are the queue times on PC? Because on PlayStation, holy crap!
Couple seconds. It's crossplay enabled, so I get matched up with console players as well. But right now, I am absolutely dominating, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's the best with a new game, especially when it's something that clicks for you. I was also just like top of the leaderboard every time. I'm like, fuck yes, this is my
Felt
chance.
so good. Oh, just killing noobs. Oh, it's so fun.
We've got to try and play, because it is crossplay.
Mhm.
Can you imagine? I don't know if you've been playing with anyone, but can you imagine actually having teamwork in that game?
Oh my god, it would be. I'm trying to get my Igloo from the other game. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to download it and give it a try. He said he would. So if I partner up with him and hop into a game with him, I'll let you know that we're in a game, and then maybe you can come along because holy
Yeah.
crap, it's so fun. Oh man, it's the amount of plays I've accidentally made. Like I was like, oh, I'll put a portal over there, jump through. I'm like, oh, I'm behind the entire enemy team, and I have a sniper. And I just killed them all. I've done so many kills.
The
I'm back.
map, the way the maps are designed in that game is actually a thing of
Mm,
beauty. It's like they've taken all those cool things from Portal, like puzzles. You can do I found a few places to do the infinite drop
yeah,
and just to launch yourself, which is the most satisfying thing.
and if you want to learn the good rotation spots where you can get to different places on the map very quickly, there's the one in training. In the training section, there's the race mode, and it takes you through the map.
Mm.
And you have to learn how to
Ooh.
portal all across the map. It's so fun.
What are we talking about?
Splitgate, a new like Portal first-person shooter. That I
Oh,
didn't realize there was like a race mode. Because I mean I found a sniper spot like where the sniper rifle spawns on the one map, which the only way to get there, you've either got to be really cheesy with your portals or you've got to do a full-on jump off of something to get the momentum to launch you through another portal across the whole map to get up there. It's like it's quite a mission to actually make the jump. But when I got up there, I was like, oh my god, no one has discovered this thing yet. I can get to the sniper every time and just wreck people from
Yeah.
this little sniper's nest.
Yeah, I checked my because I felt like I was doing way too well, and I checked my. It's gone down since then, but I checked my KD and I was like, well, I wonder what my KD is, and I was like, I checked it and I was like 2.8. Nice. I think it's like 1.5 now, as you know, I started getting matched with better players, but I'm like, damn, it's the best performance I've had in FPS in a long time.
Now that's the best. Is when I've I've had that a couple of times when a new game comes out, but it's so new, like no one can be skilled at it because it hasn't been done before. It's like maybe you could have some portal skills, maybe you got some skills from like just first person shooters, but no one has had to combine these two things just quite like this before. So it's you get a good even playing field.
Yeah, I find that a lot of people haven't learned how to use the portals, and I started playing around with them from the beginning. And I'm like, in the first match I played, I was like, okay, I'm gonna place a teleporter there, teleport there. I was like, oh wow, I can place a portal right up here and snipe people because they don't know how to deal with that. You can throw a nade at the portals to deactivate them. And I
Yeah,
just
that
stood in a cheesy spot the entire match and just scoped people. It was so fun.
and shooting through portals as well is just
Mm.
the fact that you can see through it and the enemies can't. But then every now and then, a bunch of people jump through your portal, and you're like, oh god,
Yeah,
I've made a mistake.
I closed my portals behind me.
yeah, no, I'm not really into first-person shooters much, but that does sound pretty fun. I mean, when I do PvP, it's just
Yeah,
Have
it
you
is
played
very
Portal, the
fascinating.
game? Have you played the game series Portal? Okay.
no.
Oh, you must definitely look into that because it's all puzzles. It's
Oh,
a puzzle game, but
is
yeah,
it
thinking with portals is a whole other ball game.
It's so fun.
is it
And
free?
no,
No, but it's old as hell. You can probably find
I'll
Are you
quickly check
talking
how much
about
it is right
portals?
now.
Or what?
Yeah, I mean,
It-
Portal 2 is honestly one of the best games ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's currently 80 rand, but it goes on sale like all the time, so you'll be able to get it for quite cheap.
But also it's offline, so you could get
Crack.
or if you play the multiplayer of Portal 2, if you find someone else, there's like a co-op um, two-player mode. I would highly recommend it. That co-op mode was amazing,
It's so
but
fun.
now it's those same mechanics that we all knew and loved, and now with guns, it's like, yes, why has no one done this before? We've all been like, everyone knew this would be a good idea. How has it
Yeah.
taken so long?
Funny thing is, the game released like, well, it's still in open beta technically, but it released like a year ago, and like it had no players, and for some reason now it just exploded from 1,000 concurrent players to like over 100,000.
Yeah, it's been advertised to me relentlessly on YouTube for the past like couple of months, quite a while, and I didn't try and play it because I'm like, my PC's not going to handle it, and then it was free on PlayStation. I was like, oh well, why not? Might as well.
Yeah, the
Oh,
reason
okay.
I found out about it was a YouTuber called SkillUp. He makes weekly this week in video games type videos, and I watched it. He mentioned it, and I was like, I'll check it out, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'll see when the Portal one goes on sale because Guild Wars expansion is coming out. I'm super, but it's coming out in 6 months. And I'm tired. Like February 2022 only.
No. Can't you? That's a. Oh, I feel your pain because I know when there's a game, when it's the only game that you actually care about that's coming out for the next year, it's like, really? But get Portal, it'll solve that interim gap for you.
Okay. I mean, I can still play the. Gotta get more hero points so that when the expansion does come out, I can just immediately train those. You can. I'm just gonna prepare for it for 6 months. Like, get farm gold and stuff. I'm super
Yes.
hyped for it because it's also like Japanese themed, and I'm like, because it's actually an area from Guild Wars 1 that they're sort of like, let's take this into Guild Wars 2. And it's like, I'm super hyped for it. It's gonna be so fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, Danny, have you played that Hunter's Arena, that like melee? It's like a melee. What do you call it?
Brawl?
No, like Fortnite and all of those. What are those games called? Battle Royale. It's like that, but it's all Japanese style. Like it basically Kiga characters. I mean, serious samurai fantasy. Some cool stuff. One of the characters is even named June, but
Yep.
it's all melee. So there's no guns and there's PVE and stuff. You fight demons and
Nope,
Mm.
I haven't played that game. I think it was on PS Plus, and I was like, this game is, and I'm not really looking into it since I'm stuck in Azuma in Genshin Impact, where I'm basically like clearing it. And just before we like start this session, I finished the quest where when I saw it, I was like, this would be a fitting one for either Kit or for Kaya. The way they basically did. God damn it.
I would highly recommend you check out that Hunter's Arena because it's this month's PlayStation Plus thing. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. But we must try set up a game or something. Jerry, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, sorry, we sort of got way off topic there, but I think we can jump back into the game if everyone's ready.
Yeah.
Indeed, I'm just eating my food yet.
Cool. Well, then, we will rejoin you as you have all entered the city. You are heading through, and you know that the directions that uh, you were supposed to take are leading you to this very fancy looking house in somewhere in the middle of town. You can clearly see that this is a noble's house, and Daichi's banners are uh, flying outside the building. As you approach from the north, what would you guys like to do?
She rolls her eyes at this. Like just the pure fanciness.
Yeah, it isn't obviously gaudy, but you do see along the ridge of the roof line, you can see these sort of intricately jeweled blue dragons that are sort of mounted on top of the roof, and it is the only roof here that actually has those blue dragons on it. You can see this is a pretty cheesy sort of decoration for. He's trying to make it clear that he's a son of Daichi.
She's not in the mood for this. Actually, quickly, how big is this egg? I've been wondering.
It's pretty big. I mean, it's like an ostrich egg kind of thing. Have you? I feel like as this is the first time I'd actually be able to use an ostrich egg as a reference, and you might actually have picked one up because you're a South African too.
Yeah, ostrich egg. Those are big. She's gonna have to sort of make something to carry it more efficiently sometime. She just like clutches onto this huge egg.
It is also solid. I mean, it's like this doesn't feel like a fragile egg at all. Those sort of scales. This feels like you could throw it at someone and kill them with it before it broke.
It's a rock.
Yeah, she's not gonna do that.
I mean, I would love to see you cast catapult on that and use it as a weapon.
Oh no,
but
it's
no,
not
that yeah, wouldn't recommend it. We don't want scrambled phoenix soul.
How many catapults make an omelet?
And she'll clutch it and she just like narrowed eyes right now. Just this kind of expression. That one.
Everyone can give me a perception check as you are all approaching this house and seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, June will immediately say, it's almost like he's overcompensating for something.
This red
Oh,
just
natural.
basically does this and says, "Those flags are now red." They are.
Oh, that's
A feature of prestidigitation is color. This seems like the perfect one.
Z just sort of raises her eyebrows and she goes, "Are you trying to get us all killed here, Australia?"
It is now
And
pink.
so there's just a couple of disco flags going up at the top. Although actually, as you turn it pink, she looks up and she goes, that's not bad. I think this place could use a bit of color."
I think if Sakura ever has a flag, it's definitely gonna be pink.
Well, I guess let's go inside.
And with Sakura, with your nat 20 on that perception check, June, you see this as well. But you see, uh, Kinji in one of the top windows, like on a top floor, sort of peer his head around, and he just kind of sticks his head up to the window as he sees you all approaching, and you kind of see him pushing his glasses up onto his face as he starts heading back inside. But he makes direct eye contact with you just as you sort of scowling at the house. You turn and you see him through the window as he sees you, and
Scowls at
he's
him too.
eh?
She scowls at him too.
Yeah, he definitely sees that. You can actually give me an intimidation check if you want.
Yeah, June's just gonna give him a nice wink and give Sakura an advantage on that check.
Another
Eh.
nat 20. Yeah, you see him definitely sort of when he pushes his glasses up on his face, you can kind of see him composing himself as he like adjusts his robes and walks back away from the window very quickly. But yeah, you guys hear as you sort of draw closer to the house, he will be making his way down to the main entrance. You um just see a figure moving through the window. But the main entrance to the place is on the left hand side of this map, if you haven't
Ah, I see.
figured that out. As you're making your way around, you see him opening up a set of double doors at the front of the house, and he says, "Ah, so you finally made it. Please come inside." And he turns around and starts walking in.
Still scowling at him.
Yeah, as we're walking in, June will whisper to Sakura and say, "There's a time and place to put him in his place. So, if I were you, if you you're gonna make life difficult for everybody else. So please quit it."
She scowls at June too.
Ah, you have so much to learn about being social.
Look, she's just in a bad mood. Also, she's not social at all. My goodness, me.
Just this grumpy teenage girl clutching onto this egg and covered
Wait,
in
wait.
more weapons than she should viably be able to carry. As Kinji is also kind of looking at you now, like curiously, as you all enter the house, and he's just standing there trying to make himself look kind of regal as you all walk in, and he just allows you to take in the majesty of his home.
Sakura pays no attention to his home.
So also the bards, both of you would have noticed. Even what is your perception? Oh yeah, Astray got a 13. That would have been enough to notice the piano through the window. As I think there was the last time you saw a piano was probably in Anaki's place, but it's not all that common to see. So he's definitely got some money to throw around, and you can, or as you walk in, everyone other than Sakura, who's definitely not paying attention to it, the rest of you can tell that Daichi has definitely got a trust fund going for Kenji. It's he's that kind of guy.
Ugh.
Come on then, and he carries on walking.
She sighs. She goes. I mean, grumpy teenage wizards.
I forget the fact that she's a wizard.
Yeah, she's a wizard. She likes her books. She doesn't like the people.
To be fair, she also is a wizard that grew up in Toto, so this kind of behavior is pretty, like, pretty understandable.
Yeah, so Sakura's gonna ask Estrella if she can have that chair because it's furthest away from him. Thank you.
Yet again, Sakura with the power moves with those seating. So yeah, he will head over to that side of the table, and he will stand waiting for all of you to come in, and you will see that um, as you approach the table, the plates, there are sort of bowls and plates set out on the table, and all of them will start to magically fill with small rice dumplings that they just sort of fill the bowl in front of you as if they are magically coming out of nowhere. I don't know what I'm trying to explain here, but yes, totally Harry Potter style, like magically refilling plates.
She raises an eyebrow at him.
I'm sorry, all they make are dumplings. If you don't like dumplings, you can bring your own food. But welcome everyone for the first of your morning briefings. Now that you are all under my command, uh, where is the tabaxi? The monk not joining us?
She glares at him. She hugs the egg even tighter. It's like giving him this absolute death stare.
Estrella
Sick at the moment.
casts message at him and is like,
Oh no!
basically making it sound like it's basically one of his own fault. Or at least tries to.
Give me a deception check to try and convince him of that. Okay, that's going to be versus an insight from him. Jeez, this music's too upbeat.
Yeah, this is full on battle music.
Yeah, one of the things was apparently not legal to play through rhythm, so I skipped over one extra. Okay, yeah, he just sort of stares back at you across the table, Sakura, and looks at the egg and looks back up at you, and he says, "No, it couldn't be." And he just looks up at the rest of your faces, and then kind of he goes, "All right then. Well, let's hope he feels better." As for this morning, I have called you all here to discuss. And he very quickly tries to change the subject as he kind of gets the vibe coming off of the rest of you, and then says, "Well, we have much to discuss. Your Genpuku is coming up, and as I understand it, the most any of you have are 2 rings. Is that correct?"
Yes, you're correct.
I have none.
Ah, wonderful. Who else? I mean, who's got what here? It seems. Who the hell even put you guys together? They say they haven't seen you in training in days, and yet you were some of the strongest samurai that I have seen in this castle.
But we're not samurai. We don't have our rings.
Touche. But if it is up to me, you will be samurai within the week. Well, next week. The festival is next week. I hope you all know that. And there is also the fact that the record for getting all the rings in the fastest time possible is 3 days. You have got 4. How is everyone exactly planning on solving this issue, or are we going to have an embarrassment?
An embarrassment, Sakura says, raising an eyebrow at him.
Indeed. Having a bunch of trainee wannabe samurai showing up without any rings whatsoever, or just a handful of them, is even more pathetic. Will be the laughing stock of all of Kiga. That is not how my father wishes to be presented. That is why you have all been chosen, because you have exceptional skill. And as far as I can see, there should be no reason why you don't have your rings unless you have been deliberately wasting his time.
But we've been, doing important things like killing giant robots, aliens, the like, figuring out portals, defending the city from zombies.
Dying, coming back to life.
Yeah, that too.
In a rock for a week?
Our priorities haven't been exactly too focused on getting simple rings, as you can tell.
Sorry, I love the image of the camera sort of panning across each of you, and each of you just like listing off something, and then it cuts to Australia saying, "And being a rock for a week." Like of all the things, like that. Okay, that's pretty rough. I mean, fair enough. You've been busy. I can see that, and clearly it has paid off. You have defended the city well. We are eternally thankful for that. But I'm afraid it is time for you to focus your efforts if you are to be samurai in this army going forward.
Well, you're the commander. Tell us what to do.
Sakura doesn't want him to be the commander. When you say you're the commander, she glares at you. She says, "No, Seto was the commander."
Well, Sakura, unfortunately, he is not here right now.
She then glares at Kinji and says, "Do you really think you could ever live up to the standard that Seto set?" She's being very fucking mean. And I'm really sorry, for Kinji. But she hugs this egg tighter and says, "I will not let you replace him."
He just sort of scowls back over his glasses and says, "Not a morning person, are you, girl? I'm not here to replace anyone. Your commander will still be your commander. I am your captain. I far outrank any of you, and thank you. Well, thanks to your help, I will now be at my father's at my father's side. If, of course, we can all work together and get you ready." And he sort of just looks you up and down, specifically Sakura across the table, as he says, "I don't think you are exactly samurai material just yet, but you definitely have potential, and I wish to see it fulfilled. So, what I propose is not that I replace anyone. In fact, if he is not going to be around, I think we will have to elect someone that will replace him. So, tell me, girl, who do you think that should be?" And he gestures to the other people around the table as if meaning it should be one of you. But he is asking you, Sakura, who you think should lead the party.
She points at the egg.
And what is that?
That is my best friend.
He looks at actually I'm gonna make a roll for it.
Yeah,
Because
Jin's eyes are currently closed. She's leaning on the table. She's just waiting.
Also, I think it should be a democratic vote. I know no one else will vote for this egg. But I think we should leave it up to a vote. She says, looking to the rest of the party. I don't think it would be fair if one person just decided who would be best to lead. It should be a decision from all of us.
he nods seemingly respectfully, but also he seems to be staring more at the egg now as he sort of tilts his head to the side. You can give me an insight check as you were saying this, Sakura, as he's staring at the egg and you instinctively kind of hold it closer. Yeah, with the 12, you think he might be hungry. You're not sure. It's hard to read the dragon's face, but he's definitely looking down his nose at this egg as if trying to recognize it. And he says, I do agree. But I will, if I must, and he looks to you, June, and he says, you showed great courage in that battle against the Titan. None of you even seemed to flinch. And I heard that you were also commanding some of the soldiers that were lost at the gate, but that until the beast was unleashing its most powerful weapons, that was going quite well for you. Do I understand that correctly?
Jin visibly looks a bit flustered here and goes, yes?
Then I would place my vote for you, Miss June, was it? Or have you given me a fake name that the DM has forgotten?
Yeah, the name I've given for when Jin is in her disguise. Let me quickly get it. I wrote it down somewhere. It
If you did say it,
is
I probably wrote it down somewhere too. But
Toma.
who-
Toma. Toma.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
the
yes. That's easy to remember.
Isn't it the same name as the Haji-san?
Wait, what?
Yeah. So that'll be very easy to remember. Thank you.
Wait, what? I didn't even realize.
Haji-san Toma that was his first name.
I picked this name ages ago. I when I downloaded the image. Toma works.
But as she sees him looking at her egg, she says, "Don't look at my egg. It's mine." She just glares at it.
Okay, I don't mean to, bring up the elephant in the room, but you're not cursed by that egg or something, are you? There's no. What the hell is going on? Why has she got an egg? It looks like a dragon egg, not a dragon egg. I'm pretty sure. Could someone please explain? And he's just sort of like leans forward against the table, looking kind of defeated at this point, but just shrugging like, "The fuck is up with the egg?"
Oh, I quickly give a look at the party and see see if we should just tell him.
The egg is not important right now. You said we have only 4 days. We need to get at least 5 rings. Let's start with the void one. It's the closest.
Wait, we already avoid one though, don't we?
June doesn't have the void one.
Um,
Oh, okay, we're moving on from the conversation. Cool.
Who
Well,
does not have the right one?
actually, Jerry, can you roll a persuasion check for me to try and shift the conversation from away from the egg? Because that was very masterfully done, but I want to see if you actually succeed against Genji. With a 21, yes, he goes, oh yes, well, and he will pull out from next to his chair. You'll see he'll pull out a map and unfurl it on the table, moving some of the bowls out of the way, as he says, "Well, if you are going to go for the record, then this may be your best bet." And he slaps a hand down on the table. As you can see, this map has got all of the ring locations marked on it, and it would be much easier to now actually locate them this way as opposed to doing it through the portal as you have been doing, because that can be unpredictable as we have seen. But now you have got a map to tell you where they all are. But yeah, it's up to you. How at this point, this is your opportunity to try and plan how you're going to get it. So, please take it away. If you would like me to switch you over to the actual map so you can see that, that might be easier.
Yeah, probably.
Yes,
Or at
please.
least send it in Discord so we'll have it that way.
Are you? Or are you watching on the stream?
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm watching.
Ooh. Has everyone got all
Oh,
icons all over the place? Like,
Oh.
yep.
Yep.
I was like, where are all the markings, and why is there a giant giant compass on the map? I was like, yeah, there, and everything was off to the corner.
better?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, what you can say, or I might actually need to move one or two of those things, but okay, yeah. So at where you can see, I mean, I know you guys have actually had this stuff on the map for a while, but this is the first time your characters are actually getting it. You can see the void one is obviously that one right next to you, and the rest are fairly obvious.
Well, which rings do you guys have already?
Void and water, I think.
Fire,
Fire.
not water.
Oh, fire. Yeah, water was the one that they were like, oh, that one's a bit different. Or was that air?
So
Water.
the fastest route is void, earth, air, water, and fire, and then straight to Nishizawa.
Well, I say we start with Earth, make our way to air, and then water, and then we'll make our way around to the fire and void rings for me. You guys can have your 5 already.
Well, I mean, Z will pitch in and say, I mean, we're not. Sakura, do you think you can teleport us around to these places again? You seem to have no trouble with it the other day, but I don't know how often you can actually do that.
Mm. Well, I actually can do it once a day. And wait, no. Let me see. I think it is timepiece of travel that allows me to cast teleport. Yes.
But that isn't that the thing that we needed to discuss, because don't you have to set the original point first?
As an action, you can cast the teleport spell. Once you use this feature, it can't be used again until the next dawn. That's all it said about that. I think it was the Rotor of Return. The
Oh
part
yes, that's it. Rotor of return. You return to the place that you had set.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she'll say, I mean, I guess we could get horses and just, but I don't think that's going to be best for speed.
Sakura can say, I mean, I can teleport us one of them, and then get us back to the portal, and we can go to another one, I suppose.
I'll be right back. Keep strategizing. I'll be right back.
All right.
There is the giant ship of your mom still, right? It didn't crash down or anything. The airship or whatever it was.
Oh
Belongs to
yeah.
your mother.
But
It's probably fairly fast. Not as fast as teleporting, but
damn it! But now Kenji knows about it. No, fuck it. No, he's gonna want to steal it.
You guys assume he's such an asshole. What the?
She doesn't. Okay, in her mind,
you mean you guys didn't
she's
say one bad thing about him.
in her mind, he's trying to replace Seto, and it's his fault that Seto left because he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a new commander. Okay, that means I can duck out. Cool." So she's not happy with him. She in her mind, he's trying to replace Seto, which he could never do. So she doesn't like him, and he wants to take her stuff. That's rude. That's stealing. Which I suppose isn't really stealing, but still. She has her reason. She doesn't just randomly dislike people. She's logical. Remember?
Who knows? Maybe the airship can fly Aki's hotline. That knows. Well, with the fire we could. It looks down and is putting a vial on. Maybe the portal will bring us to the fire. I'm not sure.
We've already been to the fire.
Yeah. That's at least one. If there was any sigil. Known sigil. I think me and June could get us there. Sigil. Circle.
I'm back. What
How
were you
how
discussing?
how fast is my airship?
You don't know.
We can try it.
My airship already. Like it. Oh, yeah, I actually totally forgot about that. In that second, you've got a fucking flying castle.
Laputia.
So
I mean, when you guys were on board, you can give me a history check to see how fast you were flying. Though I feel like Sakura was probably that was not what she was paying attention to.
30.
Oh,
Jesus.
maybe it was.
Jesus Christ.
she's smart as fuck.
So you were moving pretty fast. I mean, I will say that you were not that familiar with air travel, other than so it's like it's kind of hard to tell. You don't know exactly the speed at which you were traveling, but you could cover a lot of ground very quickly. You probably get the idea that what would take you a full day on a horse would probably take you an hour in the in that castle at the speed that you were moving last time, because you guys were zipping like basically over Nishisawa towards Toto, and in that time that you were there, you went over Mount Kaugen, which is below Toto there.
Okay, let's she'll say telepathically to everyone except Kenji because she doesn't want to invite him. Let's take the airship.
Yeah, June nods.
Shame, I feel so bad for being so mean to Kenji, but like Sakura really doesn't like him. I feel really bad as Kate. Like poor Kenji, but
No, this is good. I kind of want you to bully NPCs because you always feel offended when we bully NPCs in your game. So it's all right. Abuse them. Kenji's getting it though. I must say he's definitely aware that he is not too popular among this group, and at some point he will say, "Look, I didn't tell my father about it, but what do you all plan to do about the Titan? I mean, look, I could deal with it. I'm more than fascinated. I can deal with it myself, but I get the feeling that that wouldn't. Well, look, I don't want to create animosity on our first day together.
I don't want you to steal it, she says simply.
Darling, if I wanted to steal it, it would already be gone, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
And I don't want your dad to steal it either.
But you work for him, and for me, it wouldn't be stealing. You know we're all on the same side here, right?
Yes, but still, it's mine.
But it is a Titan. I mean, I understand that you are young, but I've heard your name around the scholar school. You know the history of the Titans. You know that they were what were used to fight off well, basically every evil that we are now so happy to live without. That is not a normal thing to just find operational. Whoever your mother was, we need to figure out how she got that thing.
I mean, if you want to figure out how she got it, go ahead. As long as you don't take it and use it. I don't really want to know what kind of chaos it could cause in the world and the kind of destruction. If I ever choose to use it, I want to choose it. I want to choose to use it to help people. I don't know, maybe rebuild houses or paint walls really fast. I don't want it to be used how it was used on us.
He nods and says, "Of course. But, well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen that the walls around here need painting. If we're going to make Titans giant painters, if we're going to help people, then I need to do my research. So," and he sighs, because with all the with everything he's seen from you guys so far, he knows that trying to pull a fast one on you is not going to end well for him. And he just sort of sighs and says, "All right, listen. I won't tell my father about it. If you'll agree not to tell anyone that I'm out there researching it. It could be my discovery, the things the secrets that Titan holds. And if I can bring that to my father, then, well, that might be enough. But we both know that if he gets his hands on it, it is not going to be used for any kind of good."
Yeah, Sakura nods and says, I think that's a fair ask. I don't really want anyone to know about it either. You can't know who would use it or what. So I think that's a fair deal. You can research it all you want. Just please be careful not to break it.
Jin will pipe up at this moment and say, Captain, what do you think about your father? And she's going to roll an insight check here as well.
My father, well, he is the most powerful, the greatest. Yeah, you you feel actually within 11 you, and because you do understand that sort of double speak that people are.
I'm going to use inspiration to reroll that.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, and while he's speaking,
Okay, that's
I'm
better.
basically casting detect thoughts, so I can get
Okay,
a
nice.
really good insight on it.
Yeah, so okay, actually, are you just gonna go for the surface thoughts? Because I don't think that
Yeah,
needs it.
just basically just think about surface.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, June's question is completely leading, so you will get all of that. But June and yeah, Sakura, you already don't trust this guy. Basically, anything he said, you would be skeptical of. And you and June both realize that the response he is giving is a very measured, like he's clearly giving the political response of, like, well, my father is the greatest daimyo that's ever lived, and he gives you a whole spiel that is actually he's just waffling on and is entirely pointless, because you're like, yeah, okay, well, we read that on the brochure. But Estrella, you you hear those underlying thoughts, and you get the sense of fear from him, and yet you also get the sense that of a disdain, of this hateful jealousy that is just boiling up within him, and you just hear the words as they're almost hissing through his thoughts. He says, "He is nothing. This will all be mine soon enough." Yeah, you get the impression he has got some ambitions of his own, and that his father is just in the way to him. But he gives the very noble and professional response to the rest of you.
Cool. That's all I wanted to know.
Sakura is trying not to fall asleep.
Of course she is.
She does not like Daichi either. Hearing about him is boring as fuck for her.
Look,
Well,
I know
what-
that he's not the most popular among all of the men, and some of them could use some discipline, but if I'm being honest, I am glad that you are under my command now. I feel like General Mac would have only made you soft. We
Estrella-
together.
When he says that, Estrella just goes up and punches him. Not speak about the general. Then.
yeah, can I try to stop that?
Yeah, how are you gonna try and stop that?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be. Oh man, this is something I was not expecting. Yeah, can I try jump over the table and just put her arm into a lock to just stop and say, and just try yeah, just basically make an acrobatics check.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna ask for contested acrobatics checks here to see who gets there quicker. Oh.
Ah, fuck!
What did Estrella roll?
Both
They
nat
both got
ones,
nat ones.
but Estrella
But-
wins.
Well, yeah,
Sakura
Estrella will
also-
win. However, what happens here is you don't actually manage to get to Daichi, but you don't get put into an arm lock at all. June just launches herself across the table, and you both get smashed together as Kinji sort of gets to his feet. You both hit the chair that he was sitting in, tumbling over backwards, and you are both sent tumbling through the window and outside onto the street as you both go smashing through this window, and you both land splayed out on the street as Kinji goes, "Excuse me, what the all right."
Sakura doesn't know. fun,
I'm assuming
so-
Estrella's on top of you right now, right?
Yeah, Australia basically managed to stick the landing despite you're all covered in glass, and you're splayed out a little bit worse, but yeah, it didn't end well for either of you.
Sakura shrugs and takes the chopsticks and puts one of the dumplings in her mouth. Nods. It's not bad. And starts eating the dumplings.
When did Jin become the freaking the guy, the person that's supposed to be guiding the party? Come on, she's supposed to be the chaotic one. Okay. Anyway, Estrella's on top of Jin right now, and she'll say, "Could you please exercise for goddamn restraint sometime?"
You hear from through the smashed window on the other side a chuckling from Kinji, and followed by a slow clap as he says, "Well now, little satyr, that was impressive. That is what I call loyalty. But I'm afraid General Mac is not going to be the one that you are serving anymore. You will be reporting to me." And he gives a sly kind of smile.
It just goes up to one of the other windows and shocking red basically channel enough electricity basically cause it to
Estrella. An invisible mage hand goes and pulls you back.
What do you mean?
Estrella, destruction of property is illegal. She says, and she stuffs another dumpling in her mouth.
well, if destruction of property was legal, then time would have to up of course and destroys it. time.
Well, I'm guessing she got her void ring then, and Kinji just waves his hands in the air, and the windows slowly reconstruct themselves as he starts using magic to uh, just rebuild these windows. You're not entirely sure what the spell is. You can make an Arcana check if you like, but um, you are currently being locked outside on the other side of the window.
Yeah, June will get up, not dust off, get all the broken glass off her, jump back through the window, and sit down.
Even though
Really
he's
annoyed.
fixing the window at the moment?
She'll jump through as it's busy fixing.
Yeah, as you jump through, the glass that is currently lifting into the air to fix itself sort of moves out of your way, almost as if you're diving through water, and then flies back over to the window and starts reforming as he's just twirling his finger in the air, and you can see little sparks of electric energy just dancing across his fingertips as he does this.
Yeah, June will return back to her seat, sit down, arms on the table, but annoyed as hell.
I know it's gonna Misty step just behind. Isn't she placing a hand and saying twinkle twinkle little star, and then
Counterspell.
return to my chair?
It's an innate ability though.
Is it? No, it's still a spell that's been cast. We discussed this
Oh.
already.
Okay.
Wait, what are you counterspelling?
The the Misty Step she's casting. I'll see her beginning casting something. I'll just counterspell it.
Okay.
Trying to keep the fucking peace here for crying out
Wait.
loud.
Wait, are you trying to stop her from misty stepping inside?
Yeah.
No, she's about to do something stupid, so I'm stopping that.
Okay, so straight as you're about to misty step, you see June just wagging a finger at you as as the window in front of you reforms itself, and she counters your misty step. I think misty step is 3rd level, hey?
Second level.
Second level.
Oh, okay, yeah. So no roll required. You are just standing outside in a small patch of lotus leaves, looking in through the window now. What would you like to do?
June will return to hitting her head on the table.
I'm gonna do something that makes it uncounterspell, and place my hand over my lips and then do it, since it's only a verbal. Can't see me speaking. Bye. Since you need to see.
How it works? You can't do that. That's us.
I don't think it works like that, but it's up to the DM.
Well, currently she's standing outside, is not even in the room that you're in. So let's hear about what are you trying to do, Astray?
I'm doing the same thing. Just yeah.
Counterspell.
What are you trying to? Okay. Jesus, guys, really. Now, what are you trying to cast, Estrella? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to Misty Step in again?
Misty step right behind Kinji, placing a hand and singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and then just walking back to my chair.
Counterspell.
Okay, Estrella, you're still standing outside. Every time you try and counterspell, you see them staring at you through the window, and everyone inside looks pissed off. What are you doing? I mean, they have line of sight of you where you're standing still. I don't know. Is everyone on the map? Because the windows are there and everything. You can move your own tokens around. But
This one they can't. No line of
Oh my
sight.
god! Why?
Yeah, so Australia is essentially like on the other side of this window. It keeps trying to bamf into the room, and you guys are like, no, just like shunning her back, and you see her slink off behind the wall. Australia, are you trying to bamf in again?
Yes.
Okay, and are you? So the rest of you then see Australia appear in the room behind, well, okay, over there behind Kenji, and you place your hand on his shoulder. Are you actually, is this imbued with magic or something, or are you just trying to sing a little song?
It's just a little song. There's no magic.
Okay, cool. So you appear, and you appear behind him and sort of gingerly slide your finger across his shoulders as he is currently looking at June and Sakura, like raising an eyebrow. The windows have just finished reforming, and he finishes casting his spell as he looks over to you, and you make your way back to your seat, having sung a little song behind him. And sorry, I was getting used to moving your tokens around, but you are sitting back at the table. What's everyone else doing?
June is just doing that gif that I sent. She's just hitting her table against the. Sorry, hitting her head against the table.
Sakura is eating the dumplings. With one hand, she's eating the dumplings. With the other, she's like gripping this egg tightly.
And Jerry, what are you doing during all this chaos?
Just wondering to myself, how am I the sane one?
You and me both, Jerry.
Yeah, I think the problem is that everyone in this room is thinking that, and it's like no one is actually the same one. But yeah, at this point, Z is also just lying with her head in her hands and just shaking her head. Well, we're going to try break the record to see if we can be the most efficient samurai party ever created. And she just cries into her bowl.
Sakura gives a quick thumbs up, eats the last dumpling, and says, "To my airship we go."
Genji goes, wait, what? An airship now?
Metaphorical thing. That's nothing.
It's
to
a
worry
metaphor.
about.
It's a metaphor for the portal because the portal it takes you somewhere almost as well as quickly as an airship does, maybe a bit quicker, but we just called it our airship.
It's a really bad metaphor. I don't know why she's using it.
I don't know why it either. It's it's something that Australia came up with. Don't look at me.
So he looks at all of you. He's fully aware that you were the guys that crashed that giant airship like 2 nights ago. So he just goes, he thinks, okay, like that's these. Earlier, you were just telling me what crazy shit you guys have been through. I'm not going to complain about your weird sayings. If everyone believes that they know what they're doing, I think I can let you get to it. I've got some research to carry on with. And he just sort of gestures out like informally, like, you guys fucking know what you're doing?
I
Yep.
think so. I hope so. I don't know anymore.
All right, good. Well, if you need rooms, there are rooms here in the house. They are yours to use. You are now my first squad.
She
And
she she says, "Thank you for the offer, but I want to stay in Seth's bathhouse. I mean, I don't know if you really wanted me to look after it, but I'm gonna look after it anyway.
Okay. If, sure, stay wherever you like. I don't know why I'm getting so heavy about it. But yes, I will be in touch via sending, and he just taps his head. So, yes, don't let us down, huh? And he just sort of claps his hands together, nods, gives a bow to everyone, and then gestures to the door.
She looks at the egg and she bows back because she knows that Seto wouldn't want her to be mean to people. So that's why she's trying to be polite to him, because she doesn't want to disappoint Seto. So she's trying her best to be fairly nice. Yes. And then she leaves.
Yeah, June's walking very slowly out. It's like, this party will be fine. We'll get the rings. And she's been muttering to herself. She's starting to go crazy.
June, are you okay?
I don't want to talk about it right now at all.
She like gets up on her tippy toes and just like pats your head.
Yeah, you guys are all for talking to people, honestly. Kinji will probably hear the scream as she's exiting.
You know I'm a wizard, right? So it's looking at you like it should be obvious why those are connected. Even though not all wizards are like that. She just takes it as if it's completely obvious that you should know why wizards and charisma do not go together.
Yeah, you also know, well, you will have noticed that Kinji's a wizard too. So, I mean, his dealing with the situation is really about as up in the air as the rest of you.
So he isn't pompous enough to basically claiming to be a sorcerer, born with magic.
Oh, well, maybe. I mean, I guess that would be a conversation for another time. But I mean, you did see him use an innate lightning breath. He does seem to like the dragon motif. You see it all over this house, and as you guys are leaving, you also see that lining these halls, these statues everywhere are. I mean, they're not quite these statues, but they are instead suits of armor that, like, ceremonial, probably not very practical, but very finely crafted and very expensive looking suits of armor. Jerry, you will probably recognize them as the handiwork of One Eye, some of them at least. You see some similarities, but others look like they are from foreign places.
All right.
I wonder if anyone else is planning to stay in Kenji's house though.
How nice is the house, if you don't mind me asking?
There's a piano. That's enough reason for Freya to stay up to the airship.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, you've also got plenty of rooms on the airship and a piano up there too, so.
The airship is better than.
Actually, also, you notice all of these barrels outside as you leave, which I forgot to mention, that look like they've just been delivered to the place. But other than that, the house is pretty gaudy in some ways, but seems like a house fit for a noble and a house way too big for just Kinji. It looks like it was once some sort of family home that was given to him just because he was the son of Daichi and he doesn't live with anyone.
What are these barrels filled with?
And make an investigation check if you want to check.
I do love investigation checks.
Yeah. Yeah, you go and just shake one and kind of you pry open one of these barrels, just take a little peek inside, and you know that you can just easily reverse any damage that you do. And you notice that it's full of this it's kind of like some kind of a powder, like a thick black grainy sort of powder.
She'll call the others over and say, "What? Does anyone know what this is?" She's looking particularly at Jerry because, she thinks he's most likely to know what it is. I feel like I know what it is, possibly.
Yeah, I think Jerry would definitely be the one to know what it is.
Do I know what it is?
Yeah, you can give me an investigation or an arcana check. I suppose not great at those. You'll have advantage though, because I'm pretty sure. I
Yes,
think you
that's
might
the
have
goal.
even come across this before. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jin will also have a look at it. Why not? Oh,
20.
Okay, yeah, Jerry, you recognize it as black powder, which is, I mean, you as a player know what black powder is, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
I do.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Genesis?
it's basically gunpowder, but old school, like musket fuel kind of thing. This is not something that your character would know, Sakura. This is firearms are not a thing in Toto, but you can see that this is a big shipment of what is you would probably know as a wizard. You'd probably have encountered it before as some sort of a very volatile sort of, you know. I imagine wizards might come across a need for black powder every now and then to make things explode, but yeah, Jerry, you definitely recognize what this stuff is.
Why do you think he has this? Are we planning to blow something up?
You can do the same thing with magic. Why can't you do the same thing with black powder?
Who
Yes,
knows?
that explanation, black powder go bang, is about all you need to really know.
Black
Sorry,
powder.
Australia, what were you going to say?
Who knows? Maybe he heard about a request for black powder and decided to get it in case of another zombie invasion.
We
Nice.
requested black powder? When?
Long, far away.
what's a galaxy?
The thing
Sakura
we traveled in.
discerns that Estrella is high on something, shrugs, continues on her way.
Oh, now that we're outside now. Estrella, did you pick up anything when you detected his thoughts? I know you did it when I asked that question.
Well, let's just. Let's try as he looks around to basically see if there's any like. What? That's gonna take the safe option and message. Doesn't like that. Yes.
Alright, let me just quickly do something quick. Yep, okay. Great, great. And Jin says, alright, let's go to this goddamn freaking flying ship. I'm defeated. And she starts walking in the wrong direction.
June. It's this way. Do you think she'll say this telepathically to everybody. Do you think he's planning to blow Daichi up? Maybe.
Maybe, but I don't think it's something he can do alone.
Mm.
Working. Like, it seemed like an accident.
I feel like at least one of us should possibly stay here. Also, just to keep an eye on him.
Z will say, Sakura, he doesn't need a babysitter. He's the captain of Daichi's army.
Maybe he needs
Wait.
a caretaker.
Wait, why do you suddenly want someone to watch him? Because you think he's going to try and blow up Daichi?
Juno's kind of
Yeah.
hitting her head against the wall, a
But
nearby
I don't,
wall.
I don't like Daichi, but with that much of that stuff, it's gonna cause a lot of damage to other people as well. Like, I know a lot of those samurai. I make tea for them. If they happen to get caught in that explosion, that's gonna be sad, and I don't want that to happen to them. So I don't like Daichi, but I also don't want other people to get hurt if he does do that.
I don't know why your mind immediately went to domestic terrorism when you saw a bunch of barrels of black powder outside his house. Maybe he just snorts it. He's a freaking lightning dragon. There's always explosions coming from his house. We don't know what he's planning just because there's a couple of barrels outside his house. Shall we go back in and ask him? I mean,
No time. Let's just focus on the rings.
I like it. Jerry leads the party off through the city, and you guys are already now, by this point, far from Daichi's place. You're passing by the shinobi school, which was partially destroyed. What are you going to say, Sakura?
Do I know how to get my airship down from the sky, or get us up into it by any chance?
I don't know. Do you? If the answer is no, then no, because you don't know anything about that. You haven't been to it. Do you know even where it is?
She looks for Mata.
That it
Yeah, so
saying?
Marta has been staying at the bathhouse just because she's not so sure how welcome she would be in Toto.
Okay, she's gonna find her in the bathhouse and ask hey Mata, do you know how to get the airship down by any chance, or to get us up to it?
Yeah, you can ask her that when you head back to the bathhouse. Is everyone going back there? Because you've just sort of left Kinji's place. You're heading through the city, but I don't know if there's anything anyone else wanted to do in the city before you head out. Remember, bathhouse is not in the city.
Yeah, I know. I just thought we were ready that.
I mean, we can be. I just want to double check that if there was anything else you guys wanted to do in the city.
No, really.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then we can fast forward to the point where you guys are. You head back to the bathhouse and you find Marta, who she says, "Well, there was that little skiff that I suppose you didn't notice it, but it was near that cottage where you found me. We can just use that to fly up to it. It was parked right above there. You do think it's still there?"
She nods. And we'll start heading towards where they were yesterday. Do you
Yeah,
want to come with us?
where were we yesterday? You teleported us back.
Oh yeah, look. Oh yes, she made herself familiar with it so that she could just teleport us back there.
Isn't
She's
very
gonna
nowhere
go.
does that well.
If you know, like, if you're familiar with it, she did make a point to make herself familiar with it. I think I also said it in the session.
Yeah, you did make a point to familiarize yourself with the immediate surroundings, but you don't actually know where that is necessarily. If you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you don't know where the location is, but you remember the look of the place.
Okay. Then she's gonna teleport everybody there.
Oh yeah, you can just do that. You just need to be familiar with the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Um
She's smart. Remember?
yeah, I was just trying to decide how mean I was gonna be. Because I've got a little yeah, never mind.
Doesn't the teleport spell have like a table you have to roll on?
Yeah, it does require a roll, right? It just changes the DC depending on how familiar you are with the place.
And don't try a false location
Yeah.
like Candy
Let me, yeah.
Mountain.
So
Oh,
teleport.
associated object. So if I picture the Titan, that's an associated object, which
No,
means
you
Yeah,
have
that would
that means you have to have an object from that place.
yeah, if you had a piece of the Titan, then yeah, sure. But
okay.
Wait a
Well,
second.
let's hope I don't roll less than 20.
So there's false destination, the
Okay,
description
phew.
of it.
Just a
There's viewed
question.
once, seen casually, and very familiar. There's the
Wait a second. Would the
familiarities.
rope what's called Toon carries count as associated object from that location?
No, I rolled enough to get us on target because very familiar. 25 to 100 is on target. I rolled a 42.
it is a good question though, Australia. But it wouldn't apply to that. That would take you back to well, no, because now it's attuned to June, so it would be associated with her. Otherwise, before it would have taken you back to Anaki. Which, by the way, what did you guys do with Anaki's body? Have I just forgotten?
Yes, what we did was basically we replaced it with the Daichi. Happened, I would say last session. Named it like a half session. Coupled.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you guys head back. Sorry, I'm just. I haven't actually cleared the tokens from that. Okay. And yeah, with that, you guys all teleport back to where that Titan was. And yeah, I think. Oh, there's only one body there.
Oh, it had changed.
Yeah, you do notice, Sakura, the change in the hair, and you get the impression that now that it's almost like an item that has lost its attunement. Now that Anaki is gone, that pink hair that it had before seems to be gone. You did see that when it was it was sort of repairing itself, and it was kind of charging up, that its head started to actually glow blue, but now it has just gone to a dull sort of it seems like this is just its default state.
Oh.
And this would be the first time I think that Jerry arrives here. I just realized you're not even on the map. Yeah, because Jerry got he wasn't part of the last part of that fight. So yeah, Jerry, you for the first time see this Titan sort of flying, half constructed, half in some sort of stasis mode. Definitely a different design to what you have seen before. It looks more advanced, and yet at the same time not quite as big or as powerful as the sort of armored thing that you saw before. This, it might just be a sleeker design, but it looks different somehow.
Okay. I'm not investigating or anything. I'm just passing by, looking at it.
Okay. Yeah, you guys also all see the other little skiff off to the side that is sitting in what looks like some kind of little nest.
Sakura will go and pat the Titan like you would a cat, like 3 times, and then sort of go to the ship.
Okay. Yeah, you guys all make your way over to this rather small airship. Well, what looks like an airship. Mata says, "Well, I can fly it if you need, but I'm not sure if it's gonna hold everyone."
I
Yeah,
suppose
I'll
I
stay on
could
spike
fly.
for myself.
I mean, Sakura just takes out her boken and just like flicks it as the phoenix wings appear from her back, and she uses one of its 5 charges to cast fly.
All right. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. So when you cast that, it's just on yourself, though, right?
Yeah. I can't cast it on anyone else.
All right. Yeah. So the wings emerge, and you hover up into the sky, still clutching onto that egg.
Yeah. And she feels really badass.
Yeah, I
And she
mean, it
also
looks, there is the tableau of what is what is happening as you're just sort of flying up with this Titan behind you. Like everyone standing at the ship, Mota sort of takes a moment, as does Z, as they just sort of look, and they look at each other, strange looks, like, pretty fucking cool. Okay. How are the rest of you planning on getting up there?
I have a
Spike.
plan. I have a plan. Holding out my hand, and I'm summoning the Pegasus, and it's like, team, coming with me. June, you fly with Mata.
Okay.
Yes, he also kind of shrugs and goes, "Yeah, that works." And as the Pegasus comes landing down in front of you, and Z will wait for you to get on first, Estrella, to sort of so that she can ride on the back. And yeah, so Jerry, I assume you're on Spike.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And with that, Marta will sort of say to you, June, do you know how to fly one of these things?
I'm sure I can figure it out, and she'll begin, flicking levers, pushing buttons.
She goes, oh no, not. Let me help you. We can. And she sort of puts her hand on yours to stop you from pulling one of the levers, which, like, for a moment, it almost seems like she's having a heartfelt moment, and then you turn and look at her face, and she's staring at the lever like whatever you're about to pull could have. Like, she just kind of shakes her head, like, not that one, and just uh, helps
Are
you
you
to.
are you about to show me a whole new world?
She blushes, and then she goes, I don't know what you mean, and she pulls another lever, and you just see these two on either side of the ship, these canvas these canvas things sort of inflate as a propeller at the back starts to spin, and this thing begins to lift off of the ground into the air as the two of you will be able to actually fly together. She'll be giving you some directions, but she will also inevitably make some mistakes. You can try and actually give me a survival check to see how well you can fly this thing as well.
Oh, I'm so good at survival. I only have a +6. Yeah,
Yeah,
that looks about right.
yeah, it's definitely a lot more of Mata leading you and showing you um how to fly this thing. But it is also a very simple ship, and you don't have too much trouble. You you may even be hamming it up a little bit uh, as she manages to really take some time to show off as you all soar up into the air. Jerry on the back of Spike, the Pegasus with the two ladies on the back, and Sakura with her phoenix wings spread out, just still clutching onto this egg. And you all soar up into the clouds. As you head up there, you see emerging through the clouds. You can now see it in its full glory, which I don't think you guys actually. I don't think you had seen it from the outside before. But you guys see this floating castle in the sky in all its spectacular glory. Here we go. Oh, that didn't work. Ah, well, never mind. There, there was supposed to be one of those transition things, but alas, you see that there are sort of fans spinning around, and all the way up on the top deck, you can actually see that there is quite a convenient little landing pad with two giant telescopes sticking out on either side. And I will be putting you down on the map now.
Uh, if it doesn't have a name, I vote we call it Sakura's Moving Castle.
Yes.
I already
How did I
named it
know you were going
Laputia.
to say that?
I'm a weeb, that's why.
A whole new world.
And you didn't name it Laputia.
Huh?
It's a
Shining, shimmering, splendid. Yeah, June is going to be singing that on the way up.
Yeah, it just makes Marta blush more and more, but you can actually roll me a performance check with advantage.
Oh, most definitely. Let's see, performance is over here. Oh, wait, I forgot to roll an advantage. Oh, plus, there you go. Yes!
The dice gods are with you on that one. As there are. You guys have a moment in the sky there where it's like it literally. It's better than the animation of in Aladdin. As you guys arrive there, you see Mata sort of jump off, and well, she will park the ship, and you see her looking kind of flustered as she comes down off of the ship, and you're all on the roof now, right on top of this floating castle. You can see it's quite a tower, but not nearly as tall as you would expect, knowing what is on the inside. But you had, at this point, already established that there was some magic involved there. But yes, here you go. You are finally up there. Is everyone on the maps? Oh, no, not at all. But Estrella, is yours loaded there? Because you're right down at the bottom. There are actually stables there that you can. Well, I say stables. It looks like you and Jerry both managed to arrive there, but it looks like a room for keeping animals, probably somewhere to keep flying animals.
Yeah, Spike is with me. I'm not leaving him there.
You're going to leave him in there?
I'm not leaving him in there.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't think so. No, that's cool. Spike is totally with you. That is a decent spot to land, and you are all together relatively quickly. But yeah, Australia, I don't know where you want to make your landing. You are still up in the air there, and Z is obviously on the horse there with you. I mean, on the Pegasus. You you notice there as you arrive there, Australia, there to your left, there were sort of barn doors, similar to what you would see in a stable. But this, actually, you can give me a nature check, because I think you would probably know this as you arrive up here. With a 14, it's hard to tell. You can't tell what animal they were keeping up here.
Flesh-eating Pegasus, really.
Well, there is some meat in a bowl over there, which sort of unidentified meat in one of the bowls. So whatever was living up here definitely eats meat.
Yep, not leaving the Pegasus. Something that eats.
So, Sakura, at this point, you have headed over there to the top of the ship, where you can see a massive wheel and a map underneath it, with a whole lot of levers and gears and dials and things. That this is clearly where one would go to pilot the thing itself. Though you can see that the wheel is sort of turning and it is moving on its own. It is just sort of swaying from side to side. And the ship seems to be maintaining its position, but you can also see on the map, with your passive investigation, you can see that there is a small glowing light just above Toto, just over to the side, basically similar to what you were seeing on the home screen map.
So can't you kind of assume that that glowing light is the ship?
Yeah.
Oh, that's useful. She's sort of gonna. There's no such thing as like sticky notes, I assume. Did she take the map that Kenji gave us, or did anyone take it?
Yeah, I mean, we can assume that one of you has that or copied the information onto your own map, but who would have taken?
I
Australia,
guess. Okay, Australia, cool. Thank you.
considering it's a map, it's like there's interesting places.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah, actually, no, never mind. Yeah, so you've got the map, but what are you guys trying to do? You can feel that the ship is keeping itself hovering here, and you assume that without Anaki, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But it is a little bit more complicated than you may have at first expected. This is not like sailing a regular ship, which is complicated in itself.
Got any like pins or what are those things called?
Quill.
No, like with the pins you put on a bulletin board, you know. She
Oh,
kind of
pins.
wants, yeah. Like she wants to, if there are any, she'd like to just like put, I don't know, some kind of marking of where they want to go on the map, but like not permanent, you know. So
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, you see that where that glowing light is, it seems to be just on this strange kind of layer just above the map. And as you are both standing up there, can Estrella and Sakura both give me an Arcana check, please?
bad.
Okay, yeah, so Estrella, you don't see it immediately, but Sakura, you realize that that little glowing light, it seems to be it seems to just be magical, but in the same sort of way as a prestidigitation spell would be. Just when you make a mark with prestidigitation, it seems like it's just that's all it is, but it's on this layer above it, and yet it doesn't. It seems like whatever that glass is over this map, it seems to be containing that spell and keeping it going.
She's gonna like sort of touch the glass above the dot, and sort of just try dragging the dot to where we want to be. It's a very strange method, but it's worth trying.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is not a touchscreen flying castle. That is, you swipe at it a couple of times, but no joy. It is nice try.
Can she look at the book that's there? See if there's
Yeah,
any.
absolutely. You can give me an investigation check to go leafing through that book.
You know I love my investigation checks.
How to fly a
Feels
ship,
so
dummies.
powerful.
Yeah, so the book there is actually unfortunately not at all how to fly the ship, but it is the captain's log, and you can read that there are entries from Anaki of several different places. Like, it might not teach you how to fly the ship, but this has got some basically a dated record of everything that Anaki was doing as the captain and of all the places that they were visiting. This might not be all that helpful for flying the ship, but it could be a very interesting read.
Okay. She's gonna ask Marta if she knows how to do this.
Yeah, Marta at this point kind of suddenly remembers that she's the only one that knows anything about the ship, and like takes her eyes away from June for yes, of course. She is going to run over to you there.
So June, her.
What? Nothing. No, so yes, and you see her, she's a bright red. Um, what was I? Oh yes, Anaki was not always the one who piloted the ship. I've had to control it a few times, but I have to say I'm not sure that we're alone. I don't know who would have taken the Griffins out. They're usually up here, so unless they've gone to the library, look, we should just be careful because I suppose Anaki still had friends, but maybe they left. I don't know where they've gone, so just be on your guard if we go downstairs. But as for flying this, um, I mean, if you just want to put something on the map, and she'll press to digitate a small symbol of like a crosshair over a place on the continent, and her spell will just stay on the map as if she had drawn it there. So you can use prestidigitation as a pinboard basically on this thing. But then she says, but these will control the autopilot targeting system, and she'll start moving these dials and levers, and as she pulls them around, you start to see uh, across the top and sides of this map, you can see that she starts moving uh, two little iron pieces that she can move to different coordinates, and it's basically running along, one across the top, one along the left hand side, and with that you can triangulate where you want to go. But
What?
and then yes, for manual steering, I mean, she gestures up at the steering wheel and she goes, I mean, it's more to feel cool, I think. I'm not really sure. Anaki used to like just standing up here while we were traveling, and I don't really know what she was doing.
She nods and starts sort of prestidigitating the symbols for the five rings on it, and also like the main cities. I'll spend like 5 minutes doing that, just looking at the map for reference.
Yeah, the cities were already marked.
Okay.
That's yeah. It's it's not just a completely blank map. There are it does look like you would regularly buy a world map, but this, to be fair, is an entire world map. It looks like it is in the shape of an eye, what you were looking at. However, this map would be slightly different to the ones that you have seen before in that it looks less eye-shaped and more circular, but it could just be a different artist rendition.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Anyone that is looking at the map can give me a survival check to see if they notice why that is strange.
Yeah, June is currently sitting on the wall right now with the legs over the edge, merely chilling.
We're all pretty good today.
It works. I won the forge now.
Hey, right before the end of the session. But welcome, Jerry. So, Estrella, Sakura's not enough. You realize something strange about it, but as Jerry and Estrella are standing behind you, they both definitely realize that there's a whole extra continent on this map. Like, there's a whole side piece of the map that is not there. Like, no one's. I mean, Estrella actually, you identified instantly because you have seen this kind of a map before. You would be the only one, I just remembered, that knows what is there. But as for the rest of you, that's just a strange.
Wouldn't Jin know a bit more?
Don't think so.
No? Okay.
This map has Delco on it, so unless your characters are familiar with Dulco for some reason, the way that they would know the map is that it is drawn in the shape of an eye, and less an atoll like the actual world map. I should actually pull this up, but I'm sure it's here in the lore somewhere.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
So if you look at, if you just go into the Iranian lore channel on Discord, and you just look up at that second thumbnail, or maybe we do. Oh, we've got the full world map there. So if you just scroll up a bit, that whole continent of Dulco on the left-hand side is not usually there. Nyx and Stormer connect on most maps.
Oh, okay.
So this seems to have extra information that would break your brain if you thought about it too hard as a local. You're like, what the? How does the? Huh? It's like if you looked at any map and there was an extra continent, I suppose.
Where the fuck did that come from? All right, cool.
I suppose she'll sort of, she might go exploring. After they've, well, she'll learn how to put it on course. She'll put it on course for the I think we said we were going to go to the water one first, or was it the earth one first? Or the one?
Going to Captain Planet.
I know it was the one that's
It's
like
Earth. I think it was Earth.
Which one are we going for?
Was it?
The
I
Earth?
think it's.
We can head back to.
Let me see. I think it was Earth.
Earth is to
Wind,
the right.
water,
Earth,
then
wind, water, fire,
and then
void.
we circle back. Giga.
okay. So then
Not Giga, but yeah.
She sets the course to the
Dodo.
Earth one. After closely observing Marta, does she need to roll a check for that?
No, Marta will help you here, but if anyone is proficient in air vehicles, you could roll it with advantage. Otherwise, I mean, you could use your proficiency and stuff, but I don't think anyone is. So
Nope.
Yeah, Sakura's gonna have to find a book.
I don't think there's any background or classes that.
Is there
you
even
can
a-
get,
what-
you know, when it says sea or air vehicles, that's what it means, is airships.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, it confused me for a long time because I kept giving that to my characters because I was like, well, fucking bonus, I can sail sea vehicles and air vehicles. And then I was like, oh, airships, right. That makes sense. But if I like to say, if you can sail a ship, you can probably sail an airship because fantasy world. So if any of you have got proficiency with sea vehicles, I will allow them to be sea air or air vehicles.
Wouldn't June
Because-
then have half proficiency since sailed the spaceship?
Yeah, since
That's
you
a
crashed the spaceship. No, that is a very different thing. Nautiloid is different to any other airships, and you guys played that with the power of music. It was that is not how this ship works at all. This is like regular ass. It's just got a couple of dials and things that once you learn how they work. Yeah, but now you can be sky pirates if you want. It's just you are 50 miles away from that thing. I'm going to work out how long that would take you, but that is where we're going to end tonight's session as you guys get the ship moving and start heading off that way. It is, yeah, this is a whole castle to fly. At this point, you will be relying on Motta's knowledge of it, but there will be fantastic views as you sail off through the clouds. and off to the Earth Ring. Interesting choice.
I
Well,
swear,
yeah.
there's tentacles there.
And it's gonna be like Twilight Highland.
No, I'm actually excited. The Earth one is probably going to be one of the more fun ones for me.
For you.
No,
I like the clarification. For you.
yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm glad the direction you're going in because I have not prepared it the other way around. Although, actually, I have prepared it the other way around. Fuck. It's the fire ring is on that side. You've already done that one.
Yeah,
No,
I realize now that when when your party goes to look for Sakura and them again, they're gonna have to be like, sorry, they're kind of not here.
well, yeah, I was tempted to be like, how far do I cross these things over? But anyway,
I'll make a plan. I mean, can I get those the fight club maps from you possibly?
yeah, those are ones I made myself when
Oh,
we were still on Roll20, I think. Didn't How long ago was the Fight Club? Was that on Forge?
Yeah, it was
That
on
was
Forge.
on Forge. I think
Yeah.
it was. Actually, look.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can still find it somewhere